All right, welcome back to another video. So, inside this, I really want to go over Monday's setup that I took because to me, it made the most sense out of pretty much all the moves we had this week. Yes, there was some decent moves here. You could have caught some nice trades, but as I break Monday's setup down, you're going to understand how much logic went into it, okay? Nothing else made this much sense. As you can see, we were just in accumulation the whole week. Um, but yeah, don't get me wrong. There were some other moves you definitely could have caught, but as I break this down, you're going to really understand why I only executed and was interested on Monday. Okay. So here as we go into breaking down the setup, I just also want to take time to note the standard deviation in SMT is what is explaining all of these moves within the market. Everything refers back to those two concepts. Your order block, your fair value gap, none of those are going to work without the standard deviation in SMT. Okay. It tells you when we should have a pullback into one for fair value and continue higher. All right. It tells you when a higher time frame fair value gap is being used to form a low or a high. All right. There's nothing like the standard deviation in SMT. Everything reverts back to those two concepts. So as we're getting into this trade Monday, we have to know what was happening prior to that. What was previous power of threes telling us? And in our previous week here, so you can see here was Monday. So all of these vertical lines here mark out the midnight opening. All right, because that's the true day open. So it's dividing the days for us. So I'm looking at this previous week and our previous week low. So on Thursday on the ES, you can see the ES move down and it made a new weekly low right here. It formed the low of week here on Thursday. The NQ on Thursday, it came down and it came up short of this Monday's low. Okay, so right there is our SMT here at the low of week. And I'm projecting this 15-minute manipulation leg back to the upside. And I really liked how our 2 to 2.5 standard deviation here was right above the CPI high. Okay, so a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, buy side liquidity resting here, but it wasn't any liquidity pool. It was a data high. Okay, these data highs and lows are going to be magnets. And CPI high resting right here. So going into Friday, we're looking at our midnight manipulation. So this move under our midnight open, we have our manipulation here. We're projecting that to the upside. And look at that, our 3.5 to 4 standard deviation right on the CPI high. So now we can get into where I started framing out my trade for Monday. And it actually happened here on Sunday because I had my weekly analysis at 10 p.m. on Sunday. So right here is where we had my weekly analysis in the Discord. And as we were talking here, I was favoring a move up to this CPI high to start the week. And I wanted to see NQ hit the CPI high, the ES stay short of it, and that set up for our downside setup. Okay. And something that made it obvious to me that it was going to happen here on Monday, and why I said that I would not be interested to trade on Monday unless it was a downside setup. Okay. Everything had to align there, and it was because look at the Sunday open. All right, what is that? That's our weekly open. So they dropped it straight away from our weekly open. So for one, it's already high probability to see us refer back to that. But then whenever you take into account, we have this, we have our accumulation. Right here was our manipulation. And then here was our distribution. Okay, this is exactly the idea I was framing out for what I wanted to see going into the morning. And that's exactly what happened. We just had to be patient and let our CPI high and the standard deviations get hit first. And that's exactly what happened. So it took some patience in the morning, but I don't think I referenced our manipulation of midnight as well from this day. So as they manipulated under the midnight open, look at this. This manipulation came up short of the 7 p.m. low. Let's look at the ES. So let's go back over here to Monday. So right here, this low that came down on the ES, look at this. We're below that 7 p.m. open. So right here, we're forming our SMT at the low of day below the midnight open. Okay. So then here we're projecting our midnight manipulation back to the upside, and look at that. Our 3.5 to 4 standard deviation aligning with our two previous projections. Okay. All of them are aligning right up in here above this CPI high. It was very high probability to see some sort of reversal up here above the CPI high. So then as it came time in the morning, so let me zoom back out over here to Monday. So as it came time in the morning, we had to be patient. All right. We had to be patient because this first high, they came up and they came up short of the CPI high. And right here, we are seeing no SMT, no indication of anything. And that's why I said in the Discord, the move down from here, I interpreted it as a fake move to move back up to create the SMT. All right. So let me bring up the 1 minute chart of ES on Monday as well. So as I've been outlining this CPI high right here, so the NQ at 936 moves above the CPI high. Look at the ES. The ES never hit the CPI high here. All right, this was 946. So you can see right here, as I took my entry, it was actually into a lower time frame SMT because we have our higher time frame SMT with the NQ moving up above the CPI high, the ES staying short. Then here on the lower time frame now, this is what gets price moving, the lower time frame SMTs. Okay? Look right here. Right here was my entry. Go back and look at the recording. SMT, because right here as NQ came up short on this green candle, that's where ES made its highest high right here before it gave this first sell-off. So right here, I was in short. We had our double SMT. To me, there is absolutely no reason this high should be purged. That is a protected high. We have double SMT at our key spots within the standard deviation. That right there is high probability. And not only that, look at the lows we're leaving. We're leaving beautiful engineered lows down here to come back to. And not only that, look at this 830. What was at 830? A data low. Okay. So just like up here, we're taking the CPI high, a data low. We're coming right back down for a data low. So I tell this to everyone that's just beginning with my model and my theory. If you're not comfortable entering into SMT, and you're probably not as you're just beginning, I would wait for the breaker to form. Okay, that's a big thing with my model. We're projecting the breaker swing. And you can see here, once that breaker formed, that breaker was never broken back above. So right here, both of these retests were beautiful entries for shorts. Okay, and if you actually notice right here, this was a really good entry because as NQ came up, we're testing the breaker. It's coming short of our highest high. The ES is making a new higher high right there. So we have another SMT formed right here. So they're giving SMT all over the place up here at the highs, at our key spots within the standard deviation plus SMT theory, it's down from there. And where are we going to go to though? Well, our standard deviation tells us that. Look at this. Both swings that you could have used here, our 2 to 2.5 was aligning right here, 3.5 to 4. They were slightly off down here at midnight, but watch how we traded it. We moved down. We're trading into our 2 to 2.5 standard deviations here. And what do we see? SMT with what? Our data low. So no different than the high up here. we're hitting our key spots within the standard deviation. We're seeing our SMT and reversing. All right. So right here, we're taking out the data low on NQ, that 830 low. That 830 low is all the way down here on ES. So the ES is well short of that 830 low. And then what do? They rally at the rest of the day. So it must have been random. I shorted right here at the high and took profits at the low. Right here. These are the highest probability moves you can find. When the standard deviation and SMT is aligned, there's nothing like it. So as always, I hope you got something from this video. Me and many members in this Discord caught this short. I called it out live. I mean, it was beautiful. So I hope to see you back here in trading within the standard deviation and SMT logic.